Alright guys, we've got another match between Really and PSiArc now in a different round, the same tournament. So we'll take it away. So we've got PSiArc and Really Unskilled facing off today in the losers final for the Warchief Club 19 Oceania. So we've got PSiArc here as Abacid in the blue trunks up against Really in the purple trunks. Players making use of various colours in this tournament, which is nice to see. It's a bit boring seeing red versus blue every single game, just like the ladder. Well, actually, not anymore, thanks to the latest patch. So you'd be pleased to know, if you're tuning in after a bit of time away, that the latest patch actually allows players to pick player colours in ranked and quick match. And a big shout out to Adico. Adico, I don't know how to pronounce it. You'll have to tell me. I think it's Adico. I'm not sure. Anyway, big shout outs to him for hosting these events where 19, well I was going to say fortnight strong, but that's no longer the case. We're hosting these weekly now. He's hosting these, I should say. I've just got the pleasure of casting them alongside various folks such as Veggie and Dr. Dabston. So you should check those guys out because they've done some casting at various weeks as well. And at various wings of the tournament, because there's now a Oceanic, an American and a European themed event each week. They're not really segregated at all in the sense players can play all three or one of the three or two of the three as they please. PSiArc and Really been playing quite a bit of all the tournaments lately that they've been able to make it to. All it really means is that start times for the tournaments are different, you know, based off evenings for the region. So PSiArc actually not going for his berries just yet. Looks like he's going to do a bit of a transition onto his wood once this lumber camp finishes as well, I'd say. So he's going to want to try and field some early production, maybe get his spears and try and ward off French knights. So economic wing on the way. Or is PSiArc just going to try and get second town center blindly through this? So I imagine Really's going to try and put the pressure on. He's really going to put the pressure on. Having found a lot of sheep here, and being French, and I want to open with aggressive knight play. Take advantage of the fact that they've got cheap eco techs, and behind the knight play can have a fairly easy access to a second town center. Take advantage of the fact that French produce villages 10% faster. Actually come out ahead with a favourable eco heading into age 3, even often sitting in age 2 longer, with a really strong comp of knights and spears and archers. So PSiArc in the meanwhile. Abacid also have a nice second TC gameplay. They really want to build a lot of structures quite quickly to take advantage of the House of Wisdom and the benefit of the Golden Age. Plus the fact that with the economic wing you get fresh foodstuffs, you can get half-price villages. So having 2 town centers makes that pay off extremely quickly and really pay a dividend, because you're just saving so many resources in the long run on 2 TC eco. So we are going to see early barracks here for PSiArc. He wants to defend his gold mine. He's gathering gold quite heavily there. He's going to get wheelbarrow. Wonder if he's going to try and go for a quick age 3, because he hasn't actually started gathering any stone just yet. The low villager being singled out to come back and gather safely under the town centre. Quite handy to do, because once the French player starts pumping the knights, if he runs into a half-health villager and he's got charge, he's just going to one-shot it. So it's smart of PSiArc to bring that one back. So PSiArc got his fresh foodstuffs upgrade, his half-price villagers in tow, and his spears. As Abba said, he'll be able to actually make them have double the normal attack range. Quite handy to keep chipping away at the knights and get off that one last hit to really pick them off. So really, he's going to be quick on the range. He's actually left one of his archers here accidentally. Hasn't rallied it up with the school account. Although I suppose he could always just look at basically parking it here till he figures out where the spears are. So stables now for PSiArc, and he's already got some spears here. Charge going off on the villager, but he's not able to kill her instantly. So behind this, he's just having to keep an eye on PSiArc's base for the minute. Looks like he's just happy to go with a barracks stables comp, because obviously he wants to try and fend off the archer follow-up from the French player. Gold Age 1 activating for Addison, so 15% gather rate increase here. Really going to offset the fact that the French is going to have that slightly faster villager production. So really is going to have to look at getting a bit of value out of this, and possibly looking at going to quick age 3 or taking second town centre behind this, because PSiArc will be looking at doing the same whether or not he's being contained. And if he's able to do either, he'll definitely be able to muster up the force he needs to break out. There's a lot of spears here, but the archers can start chipping away at the spears, invite the horsemen to take a fight against them. It's a good spear count there for PSiArc, and they're really preventing the knights to actually come in and polish off the horsemen here. So really, archers are going to fall, but not before picking off a couple of spears. The knights now have nothing really to support them against spearmen, so they're going to have to back off for now. This is buying PSiArc the space to go for a second town centre. A lot of villagers headed over to get stone, 12 in total. So he'll be able to get that 300 stone extremely quickly, because he's already floating the wood he needs. Well, really, he's mustered up quite a solid force behind this. Hasn't exactly started transitioning to anything here just yet. Not a lot in the bank for him. But he has taken his first wood upgrade, his double broadaxe. It's a second range now for really. Was a range now for PSiArc, so he's looking to go for mixed army. And he's already got quite a healthy spearman count. This guy's a good bit more spammable at 15-second train time than knights. So even out of the School of Cav are going to take just shy of 30 seconds. You trade much better than 2 to 1 in spear versus knight, provided that you're not going to get all your spears picked off by archers. So players will often, have the horsemen or even horsemen archer themselves, just to try and fend off this knight pressure. Well, there's already second TC here for PSiArc, and this really, you know, gives him safe access to this hunt as well. He's gathering some stone here behind this. I have to wonder what he's looking to do with that. Maybe get some upgraded towers around his base, or even possibly go third town center. The knights coming in to take an engagement against horsemen. There are spears into support, so really only able to just get a charge off and then back out. But it's nice to see him at least attempting to do so, because it does wear away at his opponent's cavalry more than his. Because really can look at getting chivalry not far from here. Possibly after a next quick engagement. Because for now at least, he's preventing PSiArc from moving out with these horsemen. As we can see, he can pick off two of them with ease. And that's probably a good idea to look at taking chivalry, because he's got 3 pretty low knights and 1 that's taking a little bit of damage. So the upgrade, I think, will pay for itself. And then from there, you can look at basically all the regeneration really being free. Defensive outpost here for PSiArc, and he's going for a range. But he's got nearly 300 stone and still gathering more. So I do think he's possibly looking at going for a third town center here behind this. So really nice comp here for really unskilled. Pretty even villager counts now though, so PSiArc's eco starting to creep ahead of reallys, and he's sticking with the 1 town center hold on his opponent. He's actually gonna add a ram. He's already got siege engineering, and being French already got bloomery for free. Gonna add in ranged steeled arrow upgrade here. PSiArc only now adding his blacksmith. He's going to start creeping ahead in Vil count. And he's just past that 300 stone mark, so here we go. Oh, he's pulling all of his wood villages away from the front side of his base. Start gathering from the rear. This could be tough for him to hold against, really, because it's a good knight archer count here. But really, he is underestimating how much coinage actually got behind this, because PSiArc right now have to keep the knights from really engaging onto his archers while he's really cleaning up his archer count right now. Camel archer also coming into the mix can help really deny the knights from sticking around. Oh, and now the knights shoot from the spears. Camel archer being picked off, and another knight now for really, so this will be able to support his archer count. It still outnumbers PSiArc's slightly. The spears heading back towards the main army. The knights having a retreat. And there's now horsemen raiding in Really's base. This has been a nice little raid here for PSiArc, because he's denied a lot of wood gathering and a bit of gold gathering as well. And the attempt at more early rams, it's going to be slowed down a little bit here. A few more of the villagers being picked off there. While the knight now raiding really at the tower there for PSiArc, really able to allow him to defend against the single knight. The horseman not really able to stick around over here. And so PSiArc, third town center going down right next to the second, and this is a good idea because your central town center, your landmark town center, does have double population space. I mean, double capacity and triple the health almost of a regular town center. Even has that innate bow damage as well, so it is overall a little bit stronger than your auxiliary town centers. You know, you've got a good chance of defending one. Well, I mean, you've got a good chance of defending the both of them if they're stacked up like this, because it makes it very hard to push in. You can garrison twice as many vills in this vicinity and actually defend against the rams without camping the vills here without necessarily leaving them at risk. So really is trying to push into this. But PSiArc still plenty on defense. PSiArc now having to try and focus down vills. I mean, really focusing down vills as well as spears, but PSiArc can actually afford to bleed a few because he's got 3 TCs to 1 at the moment. And with vills now garrisoned, he's actually picking off a good number of the archers, so really he's now having to stick towards engaging from about here. Now he's going to look at backing off. Well, Horseman approaching Really's base. He's got nothing really to defend the mill at the moment. It's been quite aggressive from him. And PSiArc maybe looking to punish this aggression right now. Good control there from Really to get out so early, but he's potentially going to lose another villager here. And he's 45 vills to PSiArc's 58 at the moment, so this immense greed from PSiArc is really paying a dividend at the moment. And even though he's up by 15 vills, he's actually still up in terms of army size at the moment as well. So really going for a push right now. There's still horsemen circling his base. He's possibly going to lose this ram here. Still got some knights up and there's no more spears left for PSiArc. So this is nice for Really, but he does lose the ram. Minimal villager losses there. He's basically going to sacrifice that knight. Well, there are some horsemen raiding the vills, and Really's having to tap out because he's realised he's just going to get out boomed from here. And GG, PSiArc takes the game. Well played.